Okay, so today we are unpacking a story that seriously sounds like a scripted Hollywood thriller. But this actually went down on the sun-baked dirt roads of a tiny village. We're going to be looking at this brilliant piece of grassroots innovation called the fridge Dhaba. And man, the incredibly dark web of deceit and human psychology it triggered is just wild. Let's jump right into this explainer.
Right off the bat, I want you to really let this question sink in. What happens when your greatest success brings out the absolute worst in the people you trust the most? It's a pretty chilling thought, right? Well, our story today actually answers exactly that. It starts out as this amazing underdog triumph, but then plunges straight into jealousy, sabotage, and honestly a fight for survival. So keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through all the facts here.
All right, let's set the scene. Our main guy here is Sukram, and his reality, well, it's pretty bleak. We are talking blistering summer heat, an old broken ceiling fan, and a totally failed food cart business that's left him drowning in debt. It's bad. Actually, to escape the crushing 40-degree heat, Sukram does something completely desperate. He literally climbs inside a broken, unplugged refrigerator sitting in his room. It's pitch black. His knees are pulled right up to his chest, but it gives him just a tiny bit of insulated relief from that sweltering world outside.
So he's sitting in this old fridge, just trying to find a fleeting moment of peace, right? And that's when his wife, Mina, completely unleashes on him. She literally calls him a madman. She just mocks him relentlessly for his failed cart, his mounting debts, absolutely zero support. But, and here's the crazy part, it's right there, in that dark, humiliating moment inside a broken appliance, that a light bulb just goes off in Sukram's head. He thinks, what if he could build an entire room that felt exactly like the inside of a fridge?
And that wild, out-of-the-box idea, that becomes the blueprint for the fridge Dhaba. Sukram designs this roadside eater using completely brilliant, low-cost evaporative cooling. We're talking thick mud walls, heavy hay roofing, and a system that continuously waters the outside to keep it damp. Inside, he puts up these blue lights to give customers that psychological feeling of stepping into a modern refrigerator. Now, obviously, Mina just laughs at this. She thinks it's going to fail spectacularly. But his childhood friend, Prakash, who drives up in this big fancy car and seems super successful, well, he actually believes in him. Prakash steps up and offers to fund the whole shebang, so Sukram builds it, and Prakash fronts the cash.
And the results? Oh, they are absolutely explosive. Week one's a bit slow, just 5 curious customers wandering in, but by week 2, word of mouth spreads like wildfire, and he hits 20. By month 1, the fridge Dhaba is a literal highway sensation. People are traveling from miles away just to experience this place. Suddenly, Sukram is pulling in real money. He hires 2 workers, Gola and Ram Kishan, and this impossible dream of his is suddenly a booming reality.
So why was it such a massive hit? Well, it literally all comes down to one incredible number, 20. See, while the outside temperature on that baking highway was a blistering 40 to 50 degrees Celsius, the inside of Sukram's mud and hay Dhaba was sitting at a perfectly cool 20 degrees. It actually worked. He pulled off a massive 12 to 15 degree temperature drop using absolutely nothing but natural insulation and water. Just a total grassroots engineering marvel.
So Sukram has finally made it. He's a massive success. But, well, you know how human nature works, right? When things go this well, this fast, the shadows start creeping in. Just as the Dhaba hits its absolute peak, things start going terribly, terribly wrong. So we have to ask, who was jealous of Sukram? Because suddenly, it becomes very clear someone is intentionally trying to destroy his entire life's work. Let's look at the evidence of the sabotage. These sabotage tactics weren't just random, they were vicious and incredibly targeted. First, somebody dumps a ton of salt into the sweet jalebis, completely ruining the food and obviously enraging the customers. Then comes the ultimate blow. Someone starts secretly ripping out the hay insulation from the walls. Without that hay, the moisture wouldn't hold, and the cooling effect was just destroyed. The Dhaba started heating back up, and, surprise, surprise, the customer stopped coming. Now Sukram immediately suspects his 2 new workers, Gola and Ram Kishan. He interrogates them, but they swear up and down that they are innocent.
Now, a lot of people would panic here, but Sukram, he gets analytical. He realizes the saboteur knows the layout of the Dhaba perfectly, meaning it absolutely has to be an inside job. So he sets a trap. Step 1, he secretly hides a mobile phone camera right in the corner of the room. Step 2, he makes a big show of pretending to go home for the night, but actually waits outside in the pitch dark. Step 3, at 2 a.m., the trap snaps shut.
And this brings us to the 2 a.m. reveal. Sukram pulls out the phone to check the footage, and his heart just absolutely drops.
he sees a figure wrapped in a burqa sneaking into the dhaba to rip out the hay. He zooms in on the video and the face is unmistakable. It's Meena, his own wife. The very woman who had mocked him for being a failure was now actively destroying his hard-earned success. Sukram confronts her, just completely shattered, demanding to know why on earth she would ruin their own livelihood.
And when he confronts her, there is zero remorse, no apology whatsoever. Her response is honestly chilling. Meena coldly looks at him and says, "I will divorce you and legally take this dhaba as alimony." That was it. Her entire master plan was to drive the business down just enough to frustrate him, declare him an incompetent madman in court, divorce him, and legally steal the dhaba for herself, claiming it was rightfully hers since Prakash put up the initial money. I mean, just pure, unadulterated greed.
Sukram is devastated, obviously, but he is resolute. He immediately throws Meena out of the house. And you know, this explainer isn't just about the business side of things, it's heavily about the social dynamics too, because this caused a massive uproar in their village. The supporters argued that she absolutely deserved to be kicked out for ruining her husband's livelihood, but the critics? They argued that throwing his wife out was way too extreme, saying he should have just compromised or handled it privately. But Sukram held his ground. She was out. And within days, he repaired the walls, and the customers came right back.
Right in the middle of all this emotional chaos, Sukram's childhood friend Prakash, the guy who funded the whole thing, comes back into town. He hears about the sabotage, wraps his arm around Sukram, and says, "I am with you. You are not alone. I will stay right here until everything is fine." Prakash even insists on sleeping at the dhaba every single night to help Sukram manage the stress and keep watch over the property. And Sukram? He is just incredibly moved by his friend's intense loyalty.
But this is where we learn that things are rarely exactly as they seem. We hit another huge turning point, the forgotten phone. One evening, after working late at the dhaba with Prakash, Sukram realizes he left his phone back at his house. So he runs back to grab it. As he's walking up his own stairs in the dark, he freezes in his tracks. He hears a voice whispering on the phone. It's Prakash. And who is he talking to? Meena.
Standing there, hidden in the shadows, Sukram overhears Prakash telling Meena, "Make the divorce papers fast. My business is ruined. We will take this dhaba in alimony. I kept him distracted." Boom. The final, absolute crushing twist. Prakash wasn't the successful, wealthy benefactor he pretended to be. His own business had completely collapsed. He was insanely jealous of Sukram's sudden wealth and had actually conspired with Meena from the very beginning. Prakash funded the dhaba, told Meena to sabotage it, and planned to use her divorce to seize the entire wildly profitable business for themselves.
Now, what is truly brilliant here is how Sukram handles this ultimate betrayal. He doesn't start screaming, he doesn't attack him. No, he executes perfect poetic justice. First, he pulls out his phone and quietly records Prakash confessing the entire criminal conspiracy right there on the call. Second, he heads back to the dhaba, pretends absolutely everything is normal, and invites Prakash inside that thick, mud-walled structure for some late-night tea. And third, the second Prakash walks in, Sukram steps out and slams that heavy, modified fridge door shut, locking it tight from the outside.
He literally leaves his treacherous friend locked inside the very fridge he was trying to steal. Prakash is left in there screaming and pounding on the door all night long. As soon as the sun rises, the police arrive. Sukram calmly hands over the audio recording and boom, justice is served. The police arrest Prakash right out of the dhaba and they pick up Meena shortly after. The entire conspiracy is totally shattered and Sukram retains full legal ownership of his hard-earned business.
Which brings us to the ultimate question I want to leave you with today. We started this whole thing by asking what happens when success brings out the worst in people. Sukram survived because he observed, he investigated, and he acted with cold, calculated logic instead of just blinding emotion. So ask yourself, when incredible success finally arrives in your own life, can you truly trust the people standing right beside you? It's a pretty heavy thought to carry, but a really vital lesson to learn.